Hello and welcome to another Betfred Sports video right here in the Quest Media Network studio. Now, before we head into the Premier League and all the other stuff, we're just going to take a look at our non-league fixtures. So, on Saturday at the Tameside Stadium, it's FA Cup action as Curzon Ashton are hosting Cleethorpes Town. In the NPL Premier Division, we've got Ashton United entertaining Warrington Town and Stalybridge Celtic hosting Stafford Rangers. In the NPL West, we've got Glossop taking on Workington, and then in Mosley at Seal Park, the Lilywhites are taking on Warrington Rylands. So then, Peter, first of all, let's take a look at the Betfred Super League, because on Thursday night, Catalans Dragons booked their place in the Super League Grand Final at Old Trafford. They were always, well, they were meant to win, weren't they, really?
Yeah, no surprise really. I did think Hull KR was one step beyond for them after that fantastic victory against Warrington in the Eliminator. So they came out and triumphed Catalans by 28 points to 10. Maybe the scoreline flattered them a little bit, particularly as they didn't have Sam Tompkins in the team. He's likely to be back for the Betfred Super League Grand Final on October the 9th. Then we've got the second semi coming up tonight. That's between St Helens, who are at home, against Leeds. You do expect there to be a St Helens victory, and that'll be right and proper that the first two teams should play the grand final. But you never know, because there was mix-ups last week. There was nobody expected Hull KR to beat Warrington, so that was one tremendous upset, and also for Leeds to beat Wigan. So in tonight's game, Saints are outright favourites, so 1-4 to win and play in the final. Leeds are 10-3. Grace is 8-1 to score the first try, and Roby, who has announced that he's not going to play international rugby anymore, he's 33-1 to score the first try, which I think is quite a good bet actually. Outright prices, there's 3 left now at the business end of the season. We've got Saints 4-6 to win the trophy for the third time on the run on October the 9th. Then we've got Catalans at 13-8. They'll be playing in the final for the first time. Leeds, who've been there before, they're 6-1 to win the grand final.
Well, I was reading Fred's column, as you can find every week in the Tameside Report and Glossop Chronicle, and basically he predicted that it would be St Helens taking on Catalans Dragons. So, you know, if Saints do win that fixture against Leeds tonight, it's going to be that showdown, and that's got all ingredients to be a cracker, because like you said, then Saints are a top-class team.
Well, both Saints and Catalans play expansive rugby. So if they don't cancel each other out, it should be a cracking final. There might be a problem with getting as many supporters as we would have hoped over from France. But we've got some free tickets that will be available through Quest Media next week. So that'll be an opportunity for some people to get there. But it's a 6 o'clock kick-off, and we do expect that at least Old Trafford will be 3/4 full.
Brilliant stuff. So you're not expecting a French invasion then, though?
Well, I think there's going to be some restrictions on how many visitors we'll get.
Yeah.
But there'll be certainly a fair crowd there. There'll be at least, I would imagine, about 6,000 fans there. I mean, there's 10,000 there at the Bruno Stadium for the semi-final win. Against Hull KR.
Well, regardless, it is taking place at Manchester United's Old Trafford, October 9th. It's going to be a cracker. So, as I said then, tonight's fixture, the other semi-final, it's St Helens taking on Leeds Rhinos. Well, we'll take a look at some of the football now. And earlier this week, it was Champions League action. And what a night it was for Manchester United. That man, Cristiano Ronaldo, once again, coming up with the goods. 94th minute, Peter, great scenes. Almost like it was the old days.
Well, maybe not quite the old days, because I think United are relying on the individual brilliance of one or two players, and particularly Ronaldo, because they didn't play particularly well in that game. They played like a team of individuals. Villarreal were much more the collective package, better coach perhaps, better tactics, and they were very unlucky not to go away with at least a draw from Old Trafford. But you can't hold down Ronaldo for that long, and I thought Jesse Lingard had an absolute key part in that goal, set him up beautifully after he came on a substitute. And it's no wonder that Jesse Lingard, a lot of fans are saying, including myself, that he should be starting for Manchester United, because Pogba and one or two others did not shine on that night. And it was down to Ronaldo to get him out of it and win the game.
I mean, it's easy to get caught up in the emotion, especially after a victory like that, 94th minute winner, courtesy of Ronaldo. But should United, as a club like United, really be celebrating in that way against Villarreal? I mean, they've just scraped it, like you said. Then should they really be celebrating like that?
In a word, no.
No.
Basically, they should be at the top table every year. They should be celebrating victories against teams like Barcelona and Bayern Munich. That's the level of Manchester United, not Villarreal. But Villarreal have upset the apple cart in Spain because they're like the underdogs there, and they keep beating some of the top teams.
I mean, you mentioned Barcelona. What is happening to them under Ronald Koeman?
Yeah, well, not as bad as what's happening at Real Madrid. Well, I think some of these, you can understand why Real Madrid and Barcelona wanted that European Super League, because their league is nothing like as competitive as the Premier League. And so they want to get some of our sort of expertise and spread the Premier League over Europe, but they're not having it because of what the fans have rightly said. It's our league and we're going to keep it as it is because of the effect it has on the whole pyramid. You mentioned about Curzon Ashton and teams like that. They all benefit from the success of the Premier League.
Yeah. Justice for the fans, obviously fans in action there, helping to reverse that decision. But 24 hours earlier, wasn't such a great evening for Manchester City. They made the trip to PSG, lost 2-0. That man, Lionel Messi, had a pretty decent game, coming up with a goal. Fair play to him.
Well, it's been a great week for the two superstars of the world game. Messi's goal was arguably a better goal, and I thought that City again lacked that killer punch up front. I did a tweet saying that you could summarise City by saying one pass too many, because that's what they kept doing over and over again. Sterling's no centre forward, not at that level anyway. He might score a few against Norwich and teams like that, but he's never going to score against PSG. And I thought Foden, he flattered to deceive to an extent. There was a few of them who were off the pace. Jesus as well, even De Bruyne. They're all a little bit similar. We just need someone to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, some firepower up top, that's what you need. Do you think it'll come back to haunt them, not getting Harry Kane over summer? I know we've said this over and over, but it's looking more likely now that it is going to come back and haunt them.
Well, I mean, I've got the odds here for the Champions League, and they're no longer out-and-out favourites anymore. They're 4-1, along with Bayern Munich and PSG. Liverpool 15-2 with Betfred, Chelsea 8-1, United 11-1, because they keep winning against the odds. Juve 22-1, same as Real Madrid. I mean, Real Madrid at this stage being 22-1 to win the Champions League is unheard of.
Yeah.
But in answer to your question, I just think that City, the fact that they didn't push out for Harry Kane, maybe went for Jack Grealish as their big money, prestigious marquee signing, could backfire, because Jack Grealish, great player that he is, he's not adding that much to the team. They've got lots of players in that area who can do that job, whereas they haven't got anybody to replace Aguero.
Well, he's got no Champions League experience, has he, Grealish? And that's a massive factor when you join a club, especially if you want to be competing for that title. So we'll take a look now at the Premier League fixtures this weekend, because at the bottom of the table, there's a massive clash at Turf Moor. It's Burnley hosting Norwich. Already at this stage of the season, Peter, this is a huge game for both sides.
Well, it's bottom against second from bottom, and Norwich, who are at Burnley, as you say, they're 1-4 to win in that game. Newcastle are 10-11 to be relegated. Watford 11-10, and Burnley 5-4 to be relegated. So we don't think Burnley will be relegated. We suspect it'll be Newcastle and Watford joining Norwich. But you're dead right, it's a key game, that.
Absolutely. And another key game at the top of the table is taking place at Old Trafford. It's another early kick-off on Saturday. United are hosting Everton. Peter, what are the odds looking like for this one?
Well, we've got Ronaldo. You can't keep him out of the news. 11-4 to score first. Cavani 7-2. I thought he did well, actually.
Yeah, he did,
United, and Bruno, he's 9-2. So for match betting to win the game, Betfred have United 1-2. Everton 13-2, and a draw 7-2.
Excellent stuff. And then on Sunday at Anfield, it's another cracker. We've got Liverpool hosting Manchester City. Peter, again, the odds, please.
Right, well, Manchester City 29-20, and Liverpool 2-1 to win. The draw is 13-5, so City slightly favourites there. It's going to be a really, really tough ask, that with that crowd, the Anfield roar, will be upsetting to the City fans, particularly if they have one of those, shall we say, raucous welcomes with the coach, etc. But Salah's 7-2 to score the first goal, and then City. It's hard to get a good market on these because there's so many players get on the score sheet and get sort of 4 or 5 goals or even 10 goals at the end of the season, but nobody out there scoring the most. Anyway, Sterling 6-1 and De Bruyne 13-2 to score the first goal with City.
Excellent stuff. Now, as always, there's always big winners at Betfred, and this week is no different. Peter, you had one fella who put on a pretty ridiculous bet, really. I don't think anyone saw, I'm going to hope I pronounce this properly, Shirab Tiraspol beating Real Madrid the other night, but he fancied his chances and it's come good for him because how much has he won from that one?
Well, he had a £10 five-fold accumulator on. So he had Dortmund to win, Atletico, Liverpool and PSG to beat City. Now they were, as near as damn it, the favourites for those games. But his fifth match was, as you say, this team from Moldova to beat Real Madrid. Now, no one's ever heard of this team from Moldova. I can't even say it. But anyway, they pulled off with the shock, probably the biggest shock ever in Champions League football, and beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu. And this guy from Nottingham, who's a security worker, he's age 44, he had the acca of those 5 teams all to win. And because the team from Moldova, Shirav Tiraspol, they were at 18-1 to win, so it boosted his the amount he was going to win to ridiculous levels. So he had £10 on the whole bet, and he won 4,000.
Can't argue with that. That could be you, like I always say on these Betfred videos. You've got to be in it to win it. Now, something a little bit different because No Time to Die, the new James Bond film, that came out 2 days ago. But there's a lot of questions being asked as who will succeed Daniel Craig. Peter, I think Tom Hardy's in the running, is he?
Yeah, Tom Hardy's the favourite, actually.
Right.
He's just ahead of you. You can have you at 2,000-1. But Tom Hardy, he's a 3-1 shot. And then we've got James Norton at 7-2. I noticed that the Labour leader suggested that we should have a woman, and Lashana Lynch, she's 8-1. Idris Elba, who I'm backing, he's 8-1 to become the first black James Bond. So there is a big business in that. Most money is in fact on Lashana Lynch.
Right.
We've had what is it now? We've got about 10,000 on her. Mainly in the London area.
There we go then. If you fancy a punt on that one, Betfred stores are now open, but as I always say, you can also bet online and via their app. But just a quick recap now. So this weekend in the Premier League, we've got Burnley taking on Norwich. That's that basement battle. A huge, huge game already at this point of the season. And at the top of the table, on Saturday, 12:30pm kickoff, we've got Manchester United hosting Everton. And then 24 hours later, at Anfield, it's Liverpool taking on Manchester City. But don't forget tonight, it's the Super League semi-final, the second game that is, because Catalan secured their place in the final last night, and it's St Helens taking on Leeds Rhinos.